Sprintpoint launches the Pocket Business Journal on Kickstarter. If you've been following 2H Media closely or have ever worked with us as consultants, you may be aware of our sub-brand Sprintpoint. We've always relied on structured resources to help with business planning and development. And a few years ago, we came up with the idea of releasing all of the templates we had built for our own use for free under a Creative Commons license. Thus, Sprintpoint.ca was born. Over the years, one piece of feedback that we've received repeatedly is that not everyone wants to print off their own resources. Some people want a more premium and guided experience. That's why we created the Pocket Business Journal. The Pocket Business Journal is live now on Kickstarter and rapidly approaching its funding goal. If you've never backed a Kickstarter, the way it works is pretty interesting. The creator, that's us, sets a funding goal which must be met for the product to come to market. And the backers, that could include you, back the campaign with a pledge. It's kind of like a pre-order with an asterisk. If you back the campaign today, you don't get charged until the campaign ends, and then only if the funding goal was reached. And the project can be found at sprintpoint.ca/Kickstarter or kickstarter.com/project/printpoint/pocket business journal.
And it's super important. And
Kickstarter
it's a little less of a mouthful. We don't get to choose Kickstarter's URL structure. And it's super affordable too. So like, it's not like we're asking $1 zillion here. They're really affordable. It's priced well within the market for early stage entrepreneurs, or if you've got an existing business.
I'm going to bring up the Kickstarter
bring it
page.
up. Bring it up.
So this has been a fun project. I've launched lots of Kickstarters before. It's the first time for 2H Media launching one. We're 4 days into this campaign. We've got 11 backers so far, and we've raised $370 of our $1,000 goal.
Yes.
Why a $1,000 goal? Well, we actually get into that further down the campaign page. We're really just testing the market on this product. We've already put a ton of investment into bringing it to market. We're pretty excited about it, and Kickstarter is allowing us to just reach a much larger audience. So this was really fun. Like I say, first Kickstarter we put together for 2H.
So this is my first Kickstarter. Like, I've been part of other Kickstarter projects. So 2H Media has done a bunch of work in the Kickstarter community. Mm-hmm. It's normally very fun. We're not the business that actually launches the Kickstarter, but we're providing resources and building the components of products that get launched, and we're
like visual assets for Kickstarter campaigns. Yeah. We've done a lot of that too.
Yeah, advertising. Yep. The actual product itself, the stuff for Kickstarter.
But this is our first. This is your first.
This is my first time
actually running a Kickstarter.
Yeah. So Aaron has got we went through the math. Like, it's millions of dollars that Aaron's helped raise. I'm at a total of 2H Media, but like for me, the first one. So like the pre-planning, the actual behind the scenes stuff like that, what Kickstarter has you do, the marketing run up to it, the whole thing is I knew some of it, but like until you're in it, you're really not jump in with both feet. And it was really it wasn't aside from the marketing, the strategy component, and all of the work that took to actually make the project, Kickstarter makes it pretty easy. Like, the Kickstarter experience on platform has been
pretty good. I mean,
enjoyable.
It helps that I had done most of the setup before you had to jump in.
Yes. So we're only a couple of days in. So I still don't know what I don't know.
And I will say, it's so much better than it was back when I was running campaigns regularly in the board game space. Kickstarter was not nearly as built out back then as it is now. The actual page builder you use to put together the story of the campaign is still not to the same quality I would like for building a website.
Yes.
But for something like this, it's perfect.
Very beginner friendly.
It makes it easy to add media. It makes it easy to add headers. It organizes the headers into a nice menu along the left. It's night and day better than where it was back when I was first doing Kickstarters, and it was a frankly buggy mess. I'm a Kickstarter veteran. Matt's new to it. We recognize that a lot of our audience is probably new to Kickstarter as well. So one of the first things we added to the campaign is a new to Kickstarter, here's how to buy section.
Hey, there's a video of you.
We briefly in text walk through how to actually back the campaign. And then we included a video as well recently to make the process really clear, where I actually take you through backing the campaign from essentially beginning to end.
Yeah.
So this is the Sprintpoint Pocket Business Journal. There is a video on the Kickstarter page that you can watch if you want to learn more about the product itself. We do have some actual discussion topics that we're going
Yeah.
to go through, some discussion questions, I should say, related to this topic. So, first of all, who is the Pocket Business Journal for?
Ooh. It's for a wide range of people in business. It is not, it is beginner friendly, but it is not specifically designed for a beginner only.
Correct.
So it is beginner friendly, not beginner only. I'm going to try and answer this question a little bit. I'm going to deviate a little bit. We've talked about the CDAP program before. The CDAP program was great. Lots of businesses, even going back, long-standing businesses, $1 million in revenue, lots of employees, like going back to the business fundamentals and walking even experienced business owners through it. We were able to identify just a ton of opportunities through that.
A perfect example, easily 90+% of businesses that we worked with through CDAP could not outline their value proposition.
Oh yes. Yeah, 90% easily. Almost 100. Yeah, like it would be, yeah.
And so those are super established businesses. One of the sections in the Pocket Business Journal walks you through how to create a really straightforward value proposition.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of business owners,
beginners
even if you're at that large scale, can benefit from.
Yeah.
And when we were designing this product, part of our mentality was we didn't just want this to be like a startup tool for new businesses that you run through once and then never touch it again. All of the templates we've included in the journal are designed to be useful the first time and then useful again if you go back and revisit them on an annual basis.
Which you should. Like, I mean, if you just, there's very few set it and forget it things in business. You do need to. Your business is going to evolve. Your value proposition will evolve for that example. So who's it for? Businesses at all stages, really. There are QR codes within the journal that like kick you back to videos that Aaron and I have built that give supplementary information around each section of the journal, so that if you're a little bit more beginner friendly, you need that. You might need that little hand holding. If you're not, then dive right in. But all stages. And then you could actually, even if you're not the business owner, if you were a manager of a specific branch of a company, you would just take that back and go, well, I'm not looking at the whole company, I'm looking at the finance department, the product department, whatever it is, the shipping and receiving. You could easily take this and just apply it to the individual subcategory of business as well. So it's open to a lot.
Narrowing that market down a little bit, because we really believe in targeting the right people, not trying to say our product is for everyone. Really, this is for business owners that want more structure in both their day-to-day and how they view their business. If you're happy firing from the hip and you've got a business that's running smoothly and you don't know exactly what your value proposition is or who your user personas might be or what a user persona even is, and that doesn't sound appealing to you, then this product's not for you. But if you've been running a business for a while and you've got like an idea of who your customers are, but you want to be able to clearly express that to your team or your advertising partners or refer back to that when you're trying to build out your marketing materials, that's the type of business owner that's going to be a really good fit for. Someone who needs more structure in their business, from planning the fundamentals, from like right down to like, why are you in business? What are you hoping to get all of this? What does your business do really well? Who are your customers? And then what do you have to do every month in order for it to be successful?
Yeah. So that's actually that leads into perfectly into the next question, which is what sets the Pocket Business Journal apart from other journals? There's not a lot of fluff here. We've cut down. So we obviously, before we built this, we looked at what was in the market.
Yep. And we won't name any. No. There's some great other options out there, especially if you're in the ideation stage where you're just like, I'd really like to open a business someday. There's some other journals on the market that ask really great sort of aspirational questions about, wow, what could this business do for your life? What do you want it to do? How are you going to help people?
Things like that. Yeah.
We really went back to the templates that we were already getting a ton of use out of on a consulting basis and sharing with people through Sprintpoint. And we really just packaged those in a way that if you go through them in order, it makes a lot of sense. We included extra information beyond what's on the website in terms of explaining those resources. And then we went so far as to, like you alluded to earlier, we created a web page to go with every single section in the journal where you can scan a QR code. When you visit that web page, it's going to bring up a video overview of that section of the journal, a completed example that we filled out using a restaurant as an example company.
Yep.
And then additional commentary by us around the resource as a whole and why it's so impactful. So
there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
It's not a super thick journal, but the content that's included is weightier than what you typically get in our experience from like a business planning journal. And
it's not, we wanted to cut some of the fluff out of it because we know that, like, again, our audience, they're busy. If you wanted to value structure, we don't want you to have, we wanted to make sure each page had value. So the goal wasn't to make the biggest journal.
Yeah.
And the longest journal and the one with like the most pages. No, we wanted to say, like, here's what you should have absolutely nailed down. And by and large, it should act as a communication tool, sharing your thoughts and ideas and outcomes with other team members within the business. So
it's also just a really nice physical product.
It is. So,
we got some early manufacturing samples back. The quality of the cover,
the cover is great.
Really nice.
We've put this in the hands of a few people. Again, we've done a very, very, very small order in terms of like getting some here, making sure the quality's high, making sure this all works. But how this started was, obviously Sprintpoint has been around for a few years. We started with what we knew was working, which was like, we've got thousands of downloads on the resources on Sprintpoint, and we said, let's go and create beyond like a printable template. So we started with what we knew, and then we said, hey, like, what else are we actually putting in there? So it's really, really good. You can't actually see it, but it's got a nice like fibrous texture. It's beautiful and blue, and it's very, very like business focused. You're not going to get like the full experience through camera, but like when I look at it, it's not soft touch. It's got like a cloth touch, a linen feel. It's cool. It's really cool. The inlay's cool. Pages are really great to write on. You're not going to get any bleed through. It's cool. It's very, very good paper. It's thick enough that it's not going to, you're not going to write in here with crayon, but at the same time, it's very, very good.
I had some back and forthing with the manufacturer when we were planning this project. They were asking about the paper we selected, and they're like, well, don't you want like a glossy finish? I'm like, no. Because people need to be able to write in this.
Yeah, it's a journal.
So
it's got to be.
It's got to be a matte finish to the paper.
I have. It's funny you mentioned that. I have like a notebook, not a journal. It's just like a blank notebook, and it's beautiful. Glossy pages look great.
But they're horrible.
And I took it with me to a meeting, and I had it. It was a brand new thing. I'm like, oh, cool. I got to start a new book for notes. And then I opened it up. I'm like, oh, these are nice pages. And I even got a compliment from the client I was with. And then I go to start writing on it with pen. I was like, oh my god. Like, okay, it's like back in the bag.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that's, designed not with usage in mind. This is designed so that you're going to write in this with any kind of pen, pencil, something like that. It's there's a couple of spots where it's actually designed for sketches. So you're actually going to put something in, and we had an artist actually put some sketches in the example, and it's great. You can actually draw on it. So.
That's just for like the user personas.
The user personas, yeah. Like, but you could draw technically if you were to do something in the notes field. Like if you wanted to draw something, a particular thing in your business, easily to do.
Let's talk a little bit about Kickstarter itself. First of all, like why we launched on the platform. When we brought the Pocket Business Journal to Kickstarter, it really wasn't about raising the funds. Like 2H Media is doing well enough. We could have just funded this project the same way we funded everything else Sprintpoint has done over the years. It was really about reach more than anything. We know that there's an audience of people that are on Kickstarter that would not have seen this product if we just like put it up through the Sprintpoint store and started selling it directly right from the get-go. So we wanted to tap into that Kickstarter audience. It was also a great opportunity for us to start building a presence on the Kickstarter platform so that if we run more of these down the line, we can show a history of funding and fulfilling products successfully outside of what I've got from like the previous companies I worked with. So there's like a lot of intangible benefits to launching a product like this on Kickstarter, other than just saying like, oh, hey, we're looking for money, because that really wasn't the focus of this campaign.
That's why you look at the funding goal. It's not like we're not asking for $1 zillion. It's also a practice what you preach thing. Like we have guided many other businesses on like, hey, if you want to test an idea, you're going to have to obviously put some money into advertising, and you're going to have to do a bunch of photography and all the things that you're going to do anyways, but like go out and get some early adoption. Go out and actually do it. And I mean, obviously Kickstarter is going to take a cut. People can complain about that, but like if you can find a better way to like launch a product that, like, we're very sure of this, but if you are not sure of something, go and try it. Like the risk is very much mitigated doing it this way.
Yes and no, because like creating the assets to run a successful campaign can take quite an investment.
It can.
In our case, we're lucky because we are already video producers. So like, for example, the video for the campaign, if someone else were to pay for that video, it would have cost them more than our funding goal is.
Yes, it would have cost. Yes.
Right. So like, it is.
But if you were to create an ad, whether it's a Kickstarter ad or something on Google or something on YouTube, there's going to be some level of minimum investment, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And
it should be way less than just going and paying for a full manufacturing run out of pocket when you haven't tested the idea.
That would, don't buy a whole container of stuff.
The place where a lot of people get tripped up is that they're so invested in their idea that even if it flops on Kickstarter, they say, well, I'm going to manufacture it anyway and just bring it to market. Or I'm going to put my own money into the campaign so that we can show that it funded.
And that's okay, because like Kickstarter's not the perfect audience for every product. Like that would be, that's ridiculous to say. We know plenty of companies
But the goal is, if you're going to try to get the right value out of Kickstarter, set a reasonable funding goal, and then like stick by that funding goal. Try to hit it, give it your best shot, and if you can't make that work, the product might not be the right fit for the market.
Absolutely.
What are our thoughts on the launch of the Kickstarter campaign before we move on to our next topic?
So
I'm going to go back to
the
sharing on.
I'll share my initial thoughts, because like Aaron obviously has got a different view on things. Really cool. They send, so Kickstarter, obviously, like I'm an admin on the Kickstarter page. They send you like an email every morning, like here's where your funding goal's at. So like I don't wake up to it, but it's like, I think it's like 10:30 a.m. or something like that, and it's like here's all the activity, and there's like notifications on. I'm not sure if you can actually see the.
What are you looking for?
Yeah. So you can't see it on the screen, but in the emails it actually breaks down on the back end that you can't see on this screen. It actually walks you through who's backed.
Well, sure. You wouldn't want that to be publicly accessible.
I wanted to make sure. I'm like, okay.
We are looking at the publicly facing campaign page.
So on the if you're interested in the back end, we can't show it to you, but it does break down who's bought, who's backed, the people. Like it does give you some.
And before you access that information, you have to certify that you're not going to like pull the information, advertising or anything.
Because I made that click, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I had to read the terms, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yep. Yeah. So. And then what's actually really cool, why don't we actually bring that up too, because you can actually see it on the page. We were
a project we love.
Yeah, so like that's
we were
great.
Super excited about that.
So before we get into that, when you launch a campaign, when you launch a Kickstarter, it is just a Kickstarter. At that point, Kickstarter's actually got its own employees, obviously, and they go out and look at Kickstarters, and they go and kind of put their stamp of approval on them by projects we love. So I woke up like the second, third morning, and I got this thing like, oh, congratulations. Like I was like, that's never happened, because it's my first one. I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. So someone else, so shout out to Kickstarter for doing that.
Yep. I don't, now to be totally transparent, I don't actually know if they do any of that algorithmically or if that is totally manual. I wouldn't be surprised if they have like an algorithm that picks them and then maybe a human
vets them. I don't know. But it was cool.
But it was really cool to be identified as a project we love by Kickstarter. Yep. What that does is it brings more visibility to the campaign.
Yeah. So, and there's like a sorting feature in Kickstarter. You can see like the stuff that's. I don't know what specifically we did. There's it's like a toggle in the back that you can just. Yeah. It's not like I can prompt them to go review our thing. They do. This is something to mention. They do review your project prior to launch. So it's not like you can just launch something without. Yep. So there's a review period where Kickstarter, and I don't know if that's algorithmically or a person as well, but they review the project before you can just launch, which I think keeps the quality of projects high.
If the timing had worked out that way, it would have been kind of fun to take people on a behind-the-scenes tour of this project before we kicked it off.
Oh, the next one we're going to do that.
Right? We're like, we take people through, okay, here's where we actually go to build the campaign, and we're submitting it to Kickstarter for approval, and if all goes well, next time we talk to you, it'll be a live campaign. That'd be fun.
Next time.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. I think there would be some interest in getting.
Because this is the thing. Like, let's be totally transparent. This topic is an advertising spot for us. We released a product, and we want to talk about it on our stream. That's one of the benefits to having a stream. But we also are trying to mix in a little bit of education and a little bit of like story around the platform. Because like we just are not built to do pure sales for anything we talk about.
Plus, like, who doesn't like behind the scenes?
Sure, yeah. So if we can include more behind the scenes next time, I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the launch of this Kickstarter. We haven't made like crazy amounts of money yet. We didn't really expect to.
That's okay.
We have 11 backers on the campaign. That's 11 people we might not have reached if we had just launched this campaign on Shopify.
There's a lot of people, and again, I'll say this, there's a lot of people that I know that haven't backed, but they got our advertising. They're like, oh my goodness, we didn't even know you were doing this. It's like, oh yeah, like, because
to that point, if you think this is a cool thing and you'd like to see it do well on Kickstarter, and maybe you're a fan of the things we do on Sprintpoint, but you don't think the product is for you, and you're not going to back the campaign, we would love for you to give it a share on social media. You know, anything to help bring more awareness to what we're doing with Sprintpoint and with this product would be super awesome.
Yeah.
That would make a big difference. So this is the Pocket Business Journal. It's designed to help you turn your ideas into action. And I think we can move on to our next discussion topic.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I like it.